Welcome, guys. Strap in and get ready for a wild ride into the world of cars that might seem like a super steal at first glance because their price tags are really low. But here's the twist. These cars might just trick you. While they don't take much cash to drive off the lot, they could end up costing you a whole lot more in the long run. That's right, we're about to riding deep into the stories of 7 different cars that look like amazing deals at first, with their super low prices that make you want to grab the keys right away. However, these cars turned out to have a sneaky side, hitting their owners with loads of expensive repairs later on. Think of it like buying a cheap toy that breaks the first day you play with it, and then you have to keep buying glue and tape to fix it. Except it's much more expensive because it's a car, not a toy. That's what happened with these cars. They lured people in with their attractive prices, making everyone think they were getting the bargain of a lifetime. But then, out of the blue, these cars started having problems one after another, like a domino effect, each issue costing more and more money to fix. So, grab your detective hats and your magnifying glasses. We're going to turn into car detectives for the day. We'll dig into the secrets of these seemingly budget-friendly cars and discover why they ended up being not so friendly to the wallets of their owners. We'll uncover the hidden stories of repairs and breakdowns that turned these budget buys into money pits. It's going to be an adventure full of surprises and important lessons on looking beyond the price tag. Let's roll out and start our engine on this investigative journey to find out the real cost of these tricky deals. Number 1, 2001 Ford Focus. That's what happened with the 2001 Ford Focus. This car was really popular because it wasn't expensive and looked pretty neat. But soon, people started having problems with the car's transmission. That's the part that helps shift the gears. And found out that it needed lots of repairs. Plus, it was recalled many times, which means the company had to fix big problems that could be unsafe. So, what looked like a good deal at first ended up being a headache for lots of people. Number 2, 1998 Chevrolet Cavalier. Next up is the 1998 Chevrolet Cavalier. This car was a big hit, especially for new drivers, because it was cheap and seemed perfect for getting you from point A to point B. But there was a sneaky problem. This car had issues with its engine and cooling system. Imagine driving on a hot day and your car starts to get too hot because it can't cool down. That's what happened here. Owners often faced big repair bills to fix overheating problems, turning this budget-friendly car into a costly mistake. Number 3, 2000 Volkswagen Beetle. Now, who doesn't love the cute round shape of the Volkswagen Beetle? The 2000 model, with its fun and friendly look, attracted lots of buyers. But beneath its charming exterior was a bunch of annoying problems. This Beetle had electrical issues and air conditioning that often didn't work right. That means things like the power windows or radio wouldn't work sometimes, and it could get really hot inside the car without a seat. Fixing these issues cost a lot of extra money, which was a real bummer for everyone who thought they were getting a fun little car. Number 4, 2002 Kia Rio. Imagine back in 2002, the Kia Rio was a car that caught a lot of people's attention because it didn't cost a lot of money to buy. It was one of the cheapest cars you could get, which made it seem like a really smart choice for people who didn't have a lot of money to spend. It's like seeing a toy in a store with a really low price tag. It's tempting to buy it right away because it fits your budget. But here's where it gets tricky. The Kia Rio had some problems, sort of like a toy that breaks easily after you start playing with it. This car wasn't made to last very long. For example, the transmission. That's the part of the car that helps change gears when you drive, had a habit of breaking down. Also, the brakes, which help the car stop, needed to be fixed a lot more often than in other cars. Because of these issues, the people who bought the Kia Rio ended up having to spend more money than they thought. Every time something broke, they had to pay to fix it. So, even though the car was cheap to buy, it ended up being quite expensive to keep running over time. So, the Kia Rio teaches us that just because something is cheap at first doesn't mean it won't cost you a lot in the end. Number 5, 1999 Audi A4. This car looked like a fancy luxury car, the kind you'd see in movies, but it didn't have the high price tag you'd expect from such a fancy car. It seemed like finding a treasure for less money, but there was a catch. Even though the Audi A4's price tag was lower at first, it turned out to be expensive to take care of it. First off, this car needed a special kind of fuel that cost more than regular fuel. It's like if that designer jacket could only be cleaned at an expensive dry cleaner instead of just being washed at home. Also, if something broke or needed to be replaced, the parts for this car were not cheap. Plus, this Audi A4 often had problems with its oil system, which helps keep the engine running smoothly, and its electronics like the dashboard lights or electric windows. These parts frequently needed repairs. So even though it seemed like you were getting a great deal at first, the money you had to spend later to keep the car running well added up. Number 6. 2001 Nissan Pathfinder V that seemed perfect for families needing a big car for not a lot of money. But it turned out to have some expensive quirks. It drank up gas like a thirsty elephant, which means it needed a lot of fuel to go places, costing a lot at the gas station. Also, parts for repairs were not cheap, and it had frequent issues with its transmission and suspension. So families ended up paying more than they bargained for to keep this car running smoothly. Number 7. 2003 BMW 325. Lastly, let's zoom in on the 2003 BMW 325e, a car that seemed like a dream come true for those wanting the thrill of a sports car without the usual hefty price tag. At first glance, it offered everything you might want from a BMW: sleek design, powerful performance, and that prestige logo on the hood. It looked like the perfect way to enjoy luxury and speed without emptying your wallet. But as it turned out, the reality of owning this BMW was not quite the carefree joyride it promised. Owning the 2003 BMW 325 quickly turned from excitement to headache. The car, while initially cheaper than other sports cars, was notorious for needing frequent and costly repairs. One major issue was its cooling system, which was prone to breaking down. It had its fair share of electrical problems. Owners found themselves visiting the mechanic more often than they'd like, dealing with everything from faulty wiring to glitches in the dashboard electronics. Each visit could mean shelling out a lot of money because the parts needed for repairs weren't just any parts. They were specialized BMW parts that came with a premium price tag. So, there you have it, friends. 7 cars that teach us a very important lesson. Sometimes a deal that looks too good to be true. Well, it just might be. It's super important to think about not just the price of buying a car, but also how much it will cost to keep it running. Always do a little detective work like we did today. And you'll be sure to make a smart choice when you buy your first car one day. And that's a wrap for today's journey into the world of cars that were more costly than they seemed. Remember, always look under the hood, not just at the price tag. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more fun explorations. See you next time on Drive Safe and Smart, everyone!